Student loans can feel like a mountain you'll never climb. But what if I told you there's a real, proven ways to pay them off faster? Strategies that have helped over 20,000 people from all income levels and all debt amounts have already implemented. Whether you're drowning in debt or just want to be free from it sooner, stick around. I'm going to break down 9 secrets to tackling your loans head on and winning. With that being said, let's jump into it. Let me ask you, how many loans do you have? Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 15, maybe you don't even know off the top of your head. Different loans have different interest rates, and without a clear plan, you end up paying way more than you need to. The solution? Simply organizing them. And that's tip number 1. Whether it's using a tool like FitBucks or even a simple Excel sheet, you need to know which loans are costing you the most. When you can see your debt clearly, you can make a smarter decision about which loans to target first. And now that you know how your loans are organized, you can start using the system to actually save money. Now the next tip is something most people don't realize. Not all payments are equal. Each month you have a required monthly payment, something you have to pay. But here's the catch. You don't get to decide how that money is used. Your loan servicer will spread it across all your loans. But there's a second type of payment called a prepayment. In short, the prepayments put you in the driver's seat. But what if you could lower your required I'm so excited I can't even talk about this because the next part is the biggest tip. What if you could lower your required payments, freeing up cash to throw at your loans? And that's where we jump into the third tip. Now there's multiple ways to reduce your required payment, but I'm just going to show you one with federal student loans. And that is by extending your loan term. By lowering your required payment, you can take that extra cash and use it to prepay your highest interest rate loans first. Now going back to that FitBucks member I showed you earlier, if he extends his loans out to 25 years, his required payment drops down to $1,055 a month. That's $700 that he just freed up. That $700 he can now use as a prepayment and target the highest interest rate loan first. Doing so saves him over $6,000 and shaves over a year off of his loans. And in addition to that, he gives himself budget flexibility. Maybe he can pay more than that $700 prepayment, maybe he can't. But now he has a smarter way of repaying his student loans. Hey guys, real quick, if you're still watching this video, it's because you're getting value from it. We enjoy making these videos, and when you subscribe to the channel, it helps us grow, which allows us to keep making more and more videos. So if you get a chance, please hit the subscribe button. With that being said, let's jump back into the video. Now, if you've ever been repaying loans in the past, you might notice that time flies, but your debt doesn't really ever seem to go down drastically. Well, that's where tip number 4 comes into play. And that's because you have to understand, interest accumulates every day. That means every day you wait, more of your payment goes towards interest instead of knocking down your balance. But if you make the prepayments often, like weekly or even bi-weekly, you're getting ahead of that interest. So in this tip, the more often you prepay, the sooner you start seeing that loan balance drop and drop and drop faster. It's a small but powerful change that makes a big difference over time. And I promise, once you see that balance shrinking, you'll feel like you're finally gaining momentum and you'll want to actually pay off more and pay them off faster. But what if the people that are processing your loans and they're there to help you are actually slowing you down? That's where the next problem comes in and the next tip. Loan servicers make mistakes all the time. When it comes to paying off student loans fast, they make 2 specific mistakes that cost you thousands of dollars and time. The first problem is you're making prepayments and you are doing all the right things, but your loan servicer is applying that extra money across all your loans instead of the one that you want to target. Really annoying, right? So you want to make sure that it's going to the right loan. The second problem is that when you pay off one loan, they don't automatically lower your required payment. You have to call them to make it happen. For example, Once I pay off this 7.9% loan, my monthly required payment should drop from $1,055 a month to $900 a month. Then I can add that extra $155 as a prepayment and target the next loan. If I don't make that phone call and do that, the loan servicer would instead take that $155 and throw it across all the loans, again, slowing down our student loan repayment plan and costing us a little bit of extra money. Now, next, there's another easy mistake people make that's really easy to avoid, especially when it comes to your federal student loans. Consolidating your federal student loans might sound like a great move, but it's not if you're trying to pay off your loans fast and you're staying in your federal loans. Consolidation is just merging of all your loans into one big loans. And when you do it, you lose the ability to target the specific loans with your prepayments. That flexibility is key to paying off the debt quickly. So in this tip, we learned to avoid the consolidation trap. But how do you save even more on interest? Setting up auto pay not only makes sure you never miss a payment, but most lenders will give you a 0.25% interest rate discount just by doing it. But here's the trick. You have to set up auto pay for your required payment, but make your prepayments manually. If you set up your prepayments on auto pay, loan servicers tend to mess it up, and then they just turn around and throw that money across all your loans. Refinancing and consolidation is oftentimes confused, but they are different. Refinancing is when you replace your current loan with a new one, ideally at a lower interest rate. This means more of your payment goes towards the balance and less toward the interest. But here's the conflict. Refinancing federal loans into a private one means giving up some benefits, like the ability to go on loan forgiveness or defer your loans. The key is balance. Now, to learn more about student loan refinancing, that's like an entire video on itself. So I'll drop a link in the description where we talk all about student loan refinancing in a completely different video. But in this video, we're going to go to tip number 9 to avoid the bad advice that's floating around online. I'm going to give you 2 different quotes from websites that are majorly prominent on the internet about student loans and bad advice that they give. Like one of these sites, one of their tricks to paying off loans fast was to pay off capitalized interest first. But here's the truth. If you're trying to pay off your loans fast, paying off capitalized interest, it doesn't really matter because it's assigned to individual loans. So if you're going to make a prepayment, it's actually smarter to target the one loan that you really want to pay off as fast as you can. The other piece of advice, like on this website, is sticking to the standard plan. Now, that means missing out on the benefits of the prepayments or reducing your required payments like we talked about in tip number 3. So the solution is clear. Focus on prepayments and targeting the loans that cost you the most. And now that we've gone through the 9 tips and tricks, there's one final mistake that you need to avoid. And this is the biggest mistake of them all. Not choosing the right repayment plan. Why do they do this? Because student loans are just one part of your financial picture. It's easy to focus on the loans and forget the bigger context like retirement and buying homes and all this other stuff. But here's the conflict. If you choose the wrong repayment plan, you can end up paying thousands more or missing out on better opportunities like investing or saving for retirement. The solution: you have to look at your student loans as part of your overall financial plan. Don't make the mistake of handling your student loans in isolation. So, do you want to know more about how to incorporate your loans into your financial plan? Well, that's the next step for you to take.